Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real World English. I'm Emma, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you wonderful listeners today.
And I'm Jake. Good morning, Emma. How has your day been so far?
It's been really good, Jake. Thanks for asking. I actually tried a new morning routine today that I'm excited to share with everyone. But first, how about you? How has your morning been?
My morning's been pretty great, Emma. I woke up earlier than usual and had some extra time to enjoy my coffee on the porch. It made such a difference in how I felt starting the day.
That sounds so peaceful. You know, we're really delighted to have all our listeners joining us today. For those who are new to our podcast, we speak slowly to help English learners follow along easily.
Absolutely. And today's topic is something everyone can relate to: morning routines. We'll be talking about how we start our days and sharing some ideas that might help you create a better morning for yourself.
That's right. We'll cover healthy breakfast ideas, productivity tips, exercise routines, and self-care practices. We'll even discuss how to balance work preparation with personal wellness.
So Emma, tell me about this new morning routine you're trying today. I'm really curious.
Well, I've been reading about how the first 30 minutes after waking up can set the tone for your entire day. So instead of immediately checking my phone like I usually do, I tried something different. I drank a full glass of water, did some gentle stretching, and then spent 5 minutes writing down 3 things I'm grateful for.
That sounds like a really mindful way to start the day. How did it make you feel?
I felt so much more present, I guess. Less rushed and anxious. It's amazing how just a small change can make such a big difference. What about you, Jake? Do you have any morning rituals that help you start your day right?
I do, actually. I'm a big believer in having a consistent wake-up time, even on weekends. My alarm goes off at 6:30 every morning, and the first thing I do is make my bed.
Making your bed first thing? That's interesting.
Yes, it might seem small, but it gives me an immediate sense of accomplishment. Admiral William McRaven gave a famous speech about how making your bed every morning helps you feel like you've completed your first task of the day, which makes you more likely to complete another task and another.
I love that philosophy. It's like starting a positive chain reaction for your day. Let's talk about breakfast now. It's often called the most important meal of the day. What do you usually eat for breakfast, Jake?
I try to keep it simple but nutritious. Most days I have oatmeal with some fruit and nuts. Sometimes I'll add a spoonful of honey or maple syrup for sweetness. It keeps me full until lunch and gives me steady energy without any crashes. What about you?
I've been experimenting with smoothies lately. They're quick to make, and I can pack a lot of nutrition into one glass. My favorite combination is spinach, banana, almond milk, a tablespoon of peanut butter, and a little bit of cinnamon. It sounds strange, but you can't really taste the spinach.
That actually sounds delicious. I might have to try that. Do you think our listeners would enjoy some more healthy breakfast ideas?
Definitely. Let's share some easy options that don't take much time to prepare. For example, Greek yogurt with berries and a sprinkle of granola is quick and packed with protein.
And how about a whole grain toast with avocado and a boiled egg on top? That's another protein-rich option with healthy fats that keep you satisfied.
Overnight oats are another great option if you're really short on time in the morning. You just mix oats with milk or yogurt and your favorite toppings the night before, and breakfast is ready when you wake up.
I've also heard that eating protein within the first hour of waking up helps with brain function throughout the day. So things like eggs, Greek yogurt, or even a handful of nuts can be really beneficial.
That's a great point. And hydration is important too. I always drink a large glass of water first thing in the morning, sometimes with lemon. It helps wake up your digestive system and rehydrates your body after sleeping.
Water with lemon is so refreshing. Now, let's move on to productivity tips. Emma, do you have any strategies for managing your time in the morning?
I find that preparing the night before makes a huge difference. I choose my clothes, pack my lunch, and write down my 3 most important tasks for the next day before I go to bed. This way, I don't have to make too many decisions in the morning when my brain isn't fully awake yet.
That's so smart. Decision fatigue is real. I use a similar approach, but I also try to avoid checking emails or social media until I've been awake for at least an hour. This helps me focus on my own priorities first, rather than immediately reacting to what others need from me.
I like that strategy, Jake. I've been trying to do the same, but it's honestly such a hard habit to break. Do you have any tips for people who struggle with the urge to check their phones first thing?
One thing that helps me is keeping my phone charging in another room overnight. That way, I have to physically get up and walk to another room to check it, which gives me a moment to reconsider. I also bought an alarm clock so I don't need my phone for that purpose.
Those are great suggestions. Another productivity tip I find helpful is doing the hardest task first, or what some people call eating the frog. If you tackle your most challenging task when your energy and focus are highest, usually in the morning, everything else feels easier afterward.
I completely agree with that approach. And speaking of energy, let's talk about morning exercise. Do you work out in the morning, Emma?
I try to, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. Moving my body in the morning helps me wake up and gets my blood flowing. Sometimes it's yoga, other times it's a quick walk around the neighborhood. What about you, Jake?
I prefer more vigorous exercise in the morning, like a 20-minute run or some strength training. It gives me an endorphin boost that lasts for hours. But I know morning workouts aren't for everyone.
That's an important point. Some people have more energy later in the day, and that's perfectly fine. The key is finding what works for your body and schedule and being consistent with it.
Absolutely. And for beginners, starting small is crucial. Even 5 minutes of stretching or a short walk can make a difference. You can always build up gradually as it becomes a habit.
I think that's true for any habit you're trying to establish, not just exercise. Start small, celebrate your wins, and be patient with yourself as you build consistency.
Well said, Emma. Now, let's talk about self-care practices. This is something I think many people overlook in their busy morning routines.
I agree. Self-care doesn't have to be time-consuming or elaborate. It can be as simple as taking 5 deep breaths before you get out of bed, or savoring your morning coffee or tea without distractions.
I like to spend a few minutes journaling in the morning. Nothing extensive, just noting how I slept, how I'm feeling, and what I'm looking forward to that day. It helps me check in with myself before the busyness begins.
That's a beautiful practice, Jake. I've also found that having a consistent morning routine itself is a form of self-care. When your morning isn't chaotic and rushed, you're giving yourself the gift of a calm start to the day.
That's so true. And speaking of calm starts, let's address one of the biggest challenges many people face, balancing work preparation with personal wellness.
This is such an important topic. With so many people working remotely now, the line between personal time and work time has become really blurred. How do you handle this balance, Jake?
I've established what I call a transition ritual between my personal morning routine and starting work. After I've taken care of myself, exercise, breakfast, getting dressed, I sit down at my desk and write out my work priorities for the day. Then I take 3 deep breaths before opening my computer. It's a small thing, but it helps me mentally shift from personal time to work mode.
I love that idea of a transition ritual. I do something similar, but I also try to establish clear boundaries around when work begins. For example, I don't check work emails until 8:30 a.m., even if I've been awake since 6.
That's a healthy boundary. I think part of the challenge is that technology makes it so easy to always be on. We have to be intentional about creating separation.
Exactly. And preparing for work doesn't have to mean immediately diving into tasks. Sometimes the best preparation is giving yourself that mental space and clarity first.
Some people find it helpful to do a brain dump in the morning, writing down all the thoughts, worries, and to-dos swimming around in their head. This can help clear mental space before starting work.
That's a great suggestion. Another approach is to decide the night before when you'll check emails and when you'll do focused work. Having that plan in place can prevent the morning from getting swallowed up by inbox management.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the importance of a proper breakfast, which we discussed earlier. Trying to work on an empty stomach or just coffee isn't setting yourself up for success.
Speaking of coffee, that reminds me of another challenge, the caffeine balance. Do you have any thoughts on coffee or tea in the morning, Jake?
I'm definitely a coffee person, but I've learned to delay my first cup until after I've had water and breakfast. That way the caffeine doesn't hit an empty stomach and I don't get that jittery feeling.
That's smart. I've also found that having a cutoff time for caffeine helps ensure it doesn't interfere with sleep the following night, which then affects the next morning's routine. It's all connected.
It really is. Our morning routines don't exist in isolation. They're part of our overall lifestyle and habits. Everything from what we eat, to how we move our bodies, to how we prepare mentally for the day ahead.
That's such a good perspective. And I think it's important to remember that morning routines aren't one size fits all. What works for one person might not work for another.
Definitely. The key is to experiment and find what helps you feel your best, and to be flexible. Some days you might need more rest. Other days you might have more energy for exercise or creative activities.
Exactly. And seasons of life matter too. A parent with young children will have different morning needs and constraints than someone living alone, for example.
That's a great point. The goal isn't to have a perfect morning routine, but rather one that serves your current life situation and helps you show up as your best self.
I completely agree. And speaking of different life situations, we're almost at the end of our episode, and we'd love to hear from our listeners about their morning routines.
Yes, we're so curious about how you start your days. What works well for you? Do you have any special morning habits or rituals that help set you up for success?
We'd also love to know what challenges you face in your mornings. Do you struggle with getting enough sleep, or making time for breakfast, or maybe balancing family needs with your own self-care?
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below this episode. You can tell us about your current morning routine or ask questions about anything we discussed today.
Your experiences might help other listeners who are facing similar challenges, and we might feature some of your comments in a future episode.
Before we wrap up, let's do a quick summary of what we covered today. We talked about healthy breakfast options like oatmeal, smoothies, and Greek yogurt with berries.
We also discussed productivity tips, like preparing the night before and avoiding technology first thing in the morning.
We explored different approaches to morning exercise, from gentle yoga to more vigorous workouts, and emphasized that even a few minutes of movement can make a difference.
And we talked about self-care practices and the importance of balancing work preparation with personal wellness through clear boundaries and transition rituals.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Real World English. We hope you found it helpful and inspiring for your own morning routines.
We hope you found it helpful and inspiring for your own morning routines. Remember, small changes can lead to big improvements in how you feel throughout your day. Start with one new habit that feels manageable and build from there.
We look forward to hearing your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Until next time, this is Jake.
And this is Emma, wishing you peaceful and productive mornings. Goodbye for now, and thank you for listening to Real World English.